Hello, guys. Sorry I'm late. I was out and about, and traffic is horrible. So I just got in, so I apologize for being a few minutes late. I hope you guys forgive me. Um, Hope everyone's doing well today. What I'm going to do is when we start watching this um, documentary, I'm going to turn uh, this live on my phone so I can watch comments. So when you see me looking down, I'm not paying attention. I am simply watching comments and also watching how it looks on my phone. So um, I guess with that said, we can. I'll wait a few minutes and let some people come in. Um, that way, um, I look really pale. I don't know. I feel fine. It might be the lighting in the room. It's very bright in here today. I've got a window over there open. Hello, Christy. Hello, Dawn. Hello, everyone. Beth, Charlie, Akeisha, Chappa. I like that name. Um, we'll get bit time for a few people to come in. I believe it is the light. I mean, I feel fine. I don't feel sick or anything, and I'm also drink drinking iced tea out of my wrestling cup when I went to Rep Arena. Iced tea from I don't know if you guys have Lee's famous recipe chicken where you live, but it's like a chain restaurant in this area, and they sell sweet tea and also unsweetened tea by the gallon. And I had a Uber Eats delivery from there last night. So when I ran through the drive-through to pick up the order, I asked the girl, I said, "Can I get a gallon of that sweet tea?" And she sold me a gallon. So I've been drinking it, and it's really good, really good. But we'll give people a few minutes. Let me put my phone on silent. I know, well, I've got to get it loaded up and ready. I got to get the live turned on this. So bear with me, and also um, we'll give people a few minutes to get in if they want to watch the um, live. I got to turn the sound down on this. Hello, everyone. I make sweet tea just like Popeyes. I really love Popeyes chicken. Their spicy chicken sandwiches just, and it is a huge piece of chicken. You haven't missed anything, Jan Rocks. We actually just got started. I was running late. I didn't get on till about 10 minutes after 4. We were supposed to start at 4. Um, the reason we started later than I said yesterday is because um, Christy told me that Scott Rice was having a live with Linda from It's a Crime, and I just didn't want to. I know a lot more people's going to watch him than watch me, but I just didn't want to do it at the same time they were doing theirs. So with that said, we'll give it a few minutes to let people come in before we start the documentary. Uh, Marlboro. I believe it is the lighting in here, Don, because that window over there is bringing in a lot of light. Christy May, thumbs up. If you ever get the chance to eat there, Don, do it at Popeyes. Their spicy chicken sandwich is it's a huge piece of chicken breast. It's no bone or anything like that in it, and it's not too hot, but it's just the perfect heat, in my opinion. Everybody, opinion is different. So, but I would try it if I was you. I really like it. I like it. Now, I like it better than Chick fil A's spicy chicken sandwich. Their chicken sandwich is really small, and they don't put anything on it. It's just plain chicken in a bun. Um, at Popeyes, they load you up. They've got like mayonnaise, lettuce, tomato, yeah, just everything. I mean, you can take it off if you want to, but they just really load you down. All right. I guess it's been a few minutes. I guess we'll go ahead and start this um, documentary. And let me, it's been a long time since I've done this. Okay, make sure I do it right. Okay, so we're there. Uh, Don, I would say they probably have a delivery service. For instance, DoorDash. There's several out there, and most restaurants right now, well, pretty much all of them, have signed up with a delivery company due to the COVID-19. Um, oh, I love pickles on my chicken. I could eat pickles on anything. Um, they sell this jar of pickles at Walmart called zesty kosher dill pickles. Damn, I could eat a whole jar of them. Uh, all right, do it. If they probably wouldn't do it because they pay me like by the mile and by the time, and that would probably be a pretty high delivery charge. Not for you. They would pay a bit. That's why they wouldn't do it. So, but hey, I bet you anything they have a delivery service if you just call and ask them, or download Popeye's app on your phone, and I'm sure they have some sort of delivery service. Oh, Akeisha, I bought the jar of the zesty kosher deals, and my daughter's like, "Ew, those look nasty," because they got little specks of like red and stuff in it. And she tried one, and then she ate almost the rest of the whole jar. And I was like, "Daggone it!" So now every time we go, she's like, "Let's get a, a jar of those zesty dill pickles." Oh well, Dawn, I'm sure you could get me to come if you wanted to. Let's hide this. And that sounds like my daughter, Akeisha. No, Kelly, you're going to stay. You're not allowed to just stop in and leave. Negatory. You can work in your yard later. And that's an order. I'm just playing. Thanks for stopping in, really. We're going to watch a documentary. And no, Dodie, you haven't missed anything. I got on late, and we're just waiting for people to come in before we start playing it. Uh, I really enjoyed this, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and start it, and hopefully you guys will like this as well. So when it comes on, tell me how the volume is if I need to turn it up or down.
You have to understand that homicide, murder, is a completely different kind of criminal act. Very few humans are actually capable of committing the act of murder or attempting to commit the act of murder.
Everybody was in their own world, in their own thoughts. It was almost beyond comprehension.
Tonight, chilling 911 calls reveal Nathan Brooks' parents had no idea who pulled the trigger.
I walked into the bedroom, I stood at the foot of their bed, I raised the gun, and before I realized that I'd done it,
I pulled the trigger. I fired again 3 times at my mom, and then I swung over to my dad, and that's when it like really clicked what I'd done. I fired at him 3 times. I just remember thinking, gone, just them being away.
This case is a nightmare on every level.
There's no manual for what's happened to us. You just feel. That's all you do.
Now that right there is the grandmother. She was not shot.
Just what happened to them, but who did it and what it did to their family.
That's what he looks like now. And this is in Washington State.
We were just doing our normal deal. It was a normal night. It was quiet. Nothing was going on. And then the radio clicked up and the call came over that shots were fired.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
520 South Battery Road. Somebody broke the revolve and shot. 520 South Battery Road.
What is your name?
John Brooks.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
I don't know. I woke up and they all been shot.
Who's been shot, sir?
My wife and I. Yes, I got blood all over everywhere. I've been shot in the head.
Mac, Motor Lake City Patrol's reporter, shots fired.
I woke up. I have no idea why I woke up. As I woke up, I saw someone standing by the doorway into our bedroom. The next thing I remember is being on the floor. Face down on the floor beside my bed. So I could tell something's wrong. I don't know. I don't really know what happened. The blood was running down over my face and into my eyes, and I couldn't see. I was wiping my face and flicking it off of my hands or wiping it on the bed. I kept a Glock pistol under the mattress on my side of the bed. All I knew is I had to get it. And then I don't remember anything.
Did you see the person who fired the shots?
Just a figure.
Where's the suspect now?
I don't know. We're hiding in the room. My daughter's with me. I don't know where my son is. Nathan poked his head into the room. I told him to come in, and I had him come in and got him behind me. So I'm on my knees with my gun pointing at the entrance to the bedroom. Both my kids are behind me in the corner, and my wife's laying on the bed. She's not really moving. She's just laying there. Kept wiping my face, and I could hear the sirens finally show up out front.
The police are there. I need somebody to go outside without a gun.
When I arrived, I saw a young man. I said, "Can you come down and unlock the door and let us in?" He unlocked the door, let us in. He was a juvenile, probably 14, 15 years old. I didn't think much more of him at that point. Once you get to the top of the stairs, there's a hallway. I could hear somebody yelling, a male voice yelling, we're up here, come help." You know, when we entered that bedroom, the master bedroom, you could see blood on the floor, blood on the bed, blood covering the pillows. There was so much blood. It was surreal. Beth Brooks, the mom, she had been shot underneath her eye, where her eye had collapsed. She'd been shot multiple times. She kept repeating this, almost catatonic, but repeating the same things over and over again. Why? Why did this happen? What did I do wrong? And then the gentleman, Jonathan Brooks, he said, where do you have Nathan?
What has happened, what we've dealt with, what we've gone through is complicated beyond words.
I was shot in the face here, and I think in through the finger and at the edge of the ear.
I think it was 6 shots. And then it's either the second or third hit me in the forehead. And then...
It hit here?
Bone and bullet fragments in there. Right there.
It damaged my eye, so I only have so much vision out of one eye. And it ruined my hearing. So pretty much deaf in that ear. And memory. Oh, and I'm still numb. My neurologist said I was the first one he'd ever encountered. Nobody has ever come out of that as well as I was. Walking and talking, that was new for him.
Beth looked at him and says, why am I alive? And he actually paused in his tracks, turned around and looked at her and said, none of us know.
No, he has a sister, Cheryl.
We were both diagnosed with PTSD. I think Beth's condition was greater than mine. Many sleepless nights, nightmares, lots of issues to overcome.
The hardest thing with this is depth perception. Because you'll go along and you'll think you're close and you're not. You hit too soon or not soon enough, and it just buggers it, basically burns a hole. So that's interesting. I don't know, 2 years after all this chaos, I just had to have something to do. I couldn't sit and think about that stuff all the time. It kind of makes you crazy.
So we've been here about a year and a half. Part of it is that's the house that everything happened in. So we were actually living in the same house, sleeping in the same
Yes,
bedroom
Angelina.
that we were shot in. And it was never the same. There was lots of reasons to change. Some of them very little, very subtle, but this seems more like a home. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like 14. This is Beth's. This is her. It's her muzzleloader or black powder gun. We use that for hunting. This was it. It's not like the gun did it, but it was that gun.
It was locked. I just don't know that it was locked well or good enough, obviously.
So just to pause that for a second, they still own the gun that he done this with. I see, Angelina says, wow, at this gun collection. But in Kentucky, it is very common for people to have a gun collection just like that right there. Most people in Kentucky have a gun safe and it's full of guns. Um, I don't know why. It's just what people do. I own a gun. It's only for home defense and defense if I'm out and see something happen. Um, that's the only reason. But to still have the gun that they were shot with, I just thought that was odd. And I don't know if you guys heard that, but they did move. They sold their house that it happened in, and bought a different house. They said because the memories, the PTSD, and all that. So um, I just wanted to talk about that for just a second. That they still own the gun that they were shot with. Um, Yeah, I mean it's not uncommon in Kentucky, especially. I don't know about other states. Kentucky now you can carry conceal without even having a permit. That was just passed last year. You know, like I said, I own a gun for home defense. If somebody breaks in my house, they're probably in trouble. I also, just to kind of let people know, I have a NRA, which is a National Rifle Association. I have that sticker on my front window, and hopefully that will let people know if they go to kick my door in that the person in this house is a member of the NRA, which means they probably have guns. So I did that kind of like for their protection. You better go kick somebody else's door in because you're going to have real problems if you kick mine in. Um, and it is so weird. Anytime the door opens and I'm asleep, I jump up just like that. So, because my daughter's friend the other night went outside to take trash out, and I was asleep on the couch. And I woke up and I was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm just taking the trash out." And I said, "Be careful doing that at night because I wake up and hear the door open. I'm half asleep. I don't know what's going on. So just don't do that in the middle of the night anymore." So, all right, we'll get back to this.
I have to tell you, when he was born, he was wonderful. Nathan was cuddly. He wanted to be with you. He did better if he was snuggled. And he just, I don't know, I just fell for that little guy.
There's no audio. Now I could hear I can hear it. Um, it must be something on your end, Angelina.
Okay. Say hi. Hi. This is going to be really cute.
There is absolutely nothing like being a grandparent. It's a wonderful chance to really enjoy a childhood. We have his deer head, the deer he got. Beth and John had it mounted. They chose a skeleton mount as opposed to a full face fur mount. Most of the hunters remember their first deer and how they felt. So it was a big day for all the hunters. His mom was 12 years old when she got her first deer. It's hunting, not killing. It's a way of life. It's what we were raised with. Nathan, he's a wonderful, wonderful kid. He really is. I don't know what happened. I don't know why what happened, but it was totally out of character for him.
Oh.
Okay, now listen to, he's going to give a statement here, and listen to this. He tells a statement, and then they tell him they know the truth, because at this point they've seen the video on that camera we've seen the police go through.
Just throw on over what you got on. Just so you know, there's a video camera in here. I just gotta let you know that and report it.
It's in Washington.
Down at your folks' house tonight.
From beginning to end?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was asleep and I woke up. There was, I don't know, a few gunshots and I heard screaming, but it was more like yelling. I could hear my dad yelling. And I ran downstairs because I heard him upstairs, so I figured the best place to go would be downstairs. So I ran downstairs and I hid over in the library area of our house. And I sat there and I hid in that little corner. And this guy came down. He's
Not sure.
a little taller than me. I was guessing 3, 4, maybe even 5 inches taller than me. He's a pretty big guy. But he loaded it back up so you could hear like the tink, tink, tink. But it was like one by one. And it sounded like he ran back up the stairs. He was up there for a little bit. And then he ran back down the stairs, opened up our rear slider door, and ran out the door. And that's the last I saw him.
So see, this
By the
camera
time
here
I
tells the
arrived
real truth.
at the home, obviously Nathan was not there. The scene was secure. You walk through the home, and it was any other home in America. His room was any other teenage boy's room in America. What was different about his home was that the security cameras in the home were not on the outside looking out. They were on the inside looking in. I've never seen that before, and nobody I know has ever seen that before.
So here's the deal, Nathan, and I'll be pretty blunt with you. I've known him for at least a few years. Do you know that your dad moved one of the video cameras inside the house?
No.
He did.
Okay.
You know what the video camera showed?
Hmm.
Why don't you tell me what the video camera showed? What went on tonight? I'm giving you a chance to be honest with me because you haven't been to this point.
2013, Donna.
Well, when you watch the video, you see Nathan running through the house or moving through the house in his underwear, carrying a revolver. It was the kind of evidence you don't get in every case. It's powerful, and it's undeniable.
See, you can see the gun in his hand. It's not real clear, but you can see it. Now, he tells the story. I'm not sure if it's now or later.
You need to be honest with me, son.
You know what I've done. I don't even know what I was thinking.
Look, man, we make mistakes. Now's the time to talk about it.
Not like this, though. Kids don't just pull a gun on their parents.
Tell me what happened, man. You're a good kid.
Apparently not. I almost killed my parents. I don't even know if they're dead. They might be. I was mad. Everything just shut off. I don't even remember really what happened exactly. It just went blank. Next thing I know, I've got a gun that's empty. And my dad's bleeding. And so is my mom.
Let's take it back a step. Where did you get the gun from?
The case. In the 4th bedroom.
Just to answer Angelina's question here, she says, I'm shocked that they both survived this. I talked about this yesterday. One of the reasons they survived it, he used a small caliber handgun, uh, which means it's not a very powerful weapon. It's just maybe a step above, really, a pellet gun. Um, don't get me wrong, they can be lethal, and they have been lethal. It's just that a smaller caliber weapon is not really a weapon you would use to kill somebody. If it seems like if he had this intent, he why maybe they didn't have a larger caliber handgun in the safe. So that's one of the reasons that they survived this, is because he used a small caliber handgun. And the dad still has, I don't know if you guys heard that earlier, he still has the bullet fragments in his head. You can see him. Um,
Alright, the door's open.
What kind of gun is it?
It's a 22 revolver Smith & Wesson. It's my grandpa's.
What were you trying to do when you pulled the trigger?
What a gun does.
Which is?
Kill.
so he said he went in there
So
to
your
kill.
goal when you walked in there was to kill both your parents.
Yes.
Hmm.
So stupid. Now I have to go to jail. It's attempted murder.
Where did you put the gun afterwards?
This was his favorite. I gotta hold this one.
Watch this part coming up. His mother is really crazy.
To laugh. I still do that. Don't make fun of me. It's the first time I probably enjoyed the sweat. You know, you go in their room and their socks are nasty. It always stinks in there. But then when you don't get that every day, then you do find yourself, and I will admit, I like the smell. These are neat, and they still send us these. Are printouts of his grades, classes he's taking, just like a report card mailed to you. So that's nice. I still get to call him up and say, hey, what are you doing? Pay attention to your schoolwork. So that's very, very nice. Auto mechanics, A-. Let's see, robotics, A-. I believe he starts this month for college courses, but he only gets to take one at a time because we have to pay for it.
So they're paying for his college
That's
classes
pillow
in
face
prison.
I made him. I love that. This is an album I'm going to start. Basically, I'm just going to start putting pictures in it for him of just Christmas, graduation, birthdays. I keep, what do you call that? A running record of stuff going on for him. things for him and things for us. So he'll have those. That's him jumping the four-wheeler. I love that picture.
I wonder if she's going to bookmark the
Forget
night
how
he shot
old is. Boy, he
them.
had fun on it.
It's really good, Amanda. If you have Amazon Prime Video, you can watch it.
But it just gets closed. Never goes away. Nathan never goes away. And I'm grateful for that. Might not be the best place for the next 13 years, but he's around and I get to talk to him.
I know he has a sister. They don't talk much about her, but
I'd rather
they do
double
mention
check
her.
than get over there and realize that I don't have something. These are visiting slips that we have to fill out every time we go to visit. It's basic information, who you are, your relationship, where you live, those kind of things.
I'm the victim, the father of the victim.
I think I view it then, from my mind, like he's at school, at college or university, and I just view it that way. Knowing obviously that's not true, but you go with that because it works for me. And we're hitting the espresso stand. Just saying. At the very beginning of everything, there were so many questions. Basically, what the heck was he thinking? What's going on? I don't understand. That's his nervous goodbye. It would have been very easy to get extremely angry, to go to dark places with this. But I think that total disbelief and shock protected us. I think it was good for us.
It was good for them, he said.
For this?
Yes. Well, no, but we'll go.
Oh, the whiplash is real. This is the worst times before.
So what do you have to say for yourself?
This is his best
I
friend.
think about him probably 10 times a day. I wish that he was here because my best friend. Pretty much like your brother getting taken away, your best friend, everything that you loved is pretty much gone. It's hard.
Gotta do a one-hit wonder.
I really like his personality. He's super funny guy. Jeez, we would crack up and laugh at just about everything. We could look at something and say something about it and just start cracking up.
Look at this lazy slob. Fuck you.
Look at me.
Whoa.
He was huge in school. Everybody knew Nathan. Sports, he on top. He was well liked by everybody in the school. Everybody. He had all the girls, that's for sure. But he was just always a guy that included everybody. Even if they were, I guess the nerd of the school, he would still treat everybody the same. That's what probably just made him so awesome.
It's called I Shot My Parents.
It's been very difficult. Very difficult. It's It's been hard. What was kind of going through this kid's mind to do that, to do something like this crazy. There was no signs of anything when I was with him. Like, there was nothing like unordinary with him. You just never, ever in a million years saw it coming.
The worst part is to find out that, you know, he emptied the gun.
Yes,
Boom, boom, boom,
ma'am.
boom, boom. All I remember is seeing somebody there, and no offense, it definitely wasn't my son.
See?
That's not who I saw. But yeah, when you come to it and they tell you that, it just, I figured I was dreaming. I figured I was having truly a nightmare, because that wasn't him.
I think the fact that Nathan was the one that shot us, I don't know that I'll ever be able to process that. I was shot and John was shot, but I had no idea who it was. All I remember is seeing somebody in a black, like a down coat that's stitched. And I remember trying to do that to look into the light.
I thought I saw a person other than my son. I thought I saw a guy, kind of middle height, kind of heavier set, kind of a little puffier.
He saw the same thing. Somebody in one of those black puffy coats.
We had been trying to live with it for weeks, and now here it is, it's fresh with her. She was going through everything that we had already gone through.
Everybody says, oh, you guys just made that person up who was in your room. You knew it was your son. I couldn't believe it. I honestly thought I was dreaming and they were lying to me.
It must be really hard. Seriously, think about that.
I'm extremely
I mean,
good
look
at
at her.
bottling up
She's an
emotions.
emotional wreck.
It's one of the crutches that I used a lot during this process. I still use it today. There's emotions, there's heartache, there's sorrow, there's more emotional pain than I can begin to explain. And I don't know whether I'm man enough to process it. So the best way I can do with it is bottle it up and put it away. Deal with it later.
Yeah.
I don't have time to deal with it now. I don't.
He just said he's bottled it up and put it away. He don't have time to process this. Eventually, this has to be processed, in my opinion. And so, what could happen? When he processes it, his son's out of prison. What if he shoots his son? I mean, it's just bizarre to me the way these parents are acting. And don't get me wrong, I don't think any of us have ever been in their shoes, but I don't know. Um, I believe they don't want to believe it was their son. They want to believe it was someone else. That's what I believe. And both of them have said that they have not processed this, so they haven't faced it. And I think it would be very important for them both to get therapy or counseling before he is released. He is going to be released in the year 2028, and it could be sooner if he has a good behavior, good time. If he does something in jail, get some time taken off. Uh, no, they had a video camera in the house that showed him with the gun and going upstairs and then coming back down with the gun. Beta. Um, but I believe it would be very, 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 very important for them to get counseling and face this with somebody that's a specialist in this field before he's released from prison, if that makes sense. Because to me, that's just my opinion. So I'll go ahead and start it.
I want to deal with it now. If I did deal with it now, it could have repercussions, and I don't want to take those on yet. Maybe someday, but not now.
And see, he said there would be repercussions. That's what makes me think if he processes it after his son is out, would he be to the point where he would shoot his son? I mean, I know that sounds unbelievable, but it's unbelievable that he shot both of his parents in the face trying to kill them. Angelina, he turned. It explains it later on, I believe, but the reason he put that camera in the kitchen like that is his son was grounded, and he was wanting to see if his son was following the, I guess the what he was grounded from. So I agree, Carolyn. This could end really badly if they don't get counseling from a specialist. Um, yeah, well, Christy, he did that, like I said, to make sure the son was going by the guidelines of his punishment of being grounded. That's excellent, Michelle.
You don't have a boy that likes to play basketball. This kid with a good heart wanted to help. Whoever was in that room that night and pulled the trigger was someone else other than Nathan.
I walked into the bedroom, and I stood at the foot of their bed, and I remember I raised the gun, and I aimed it at my mother first.
This is the
I don't know
son now.
why. And then I remember having these really quick thoughts of, you don't have to do it. But they were so quick and suddenly gone that I didn't really have a chance to really think about it. And before I realized that I'd done it, I pulled the trigger and the gun had gone off. I fired again, and I fired again 3 times at my mom. And then I swung over to my dad. I fired again. I fired at him 3 times. I ran down the hallway. I sat down on the stairs, and that's when it really clicked what I'd done. And I just remember feeling so much guilt and remorse, and hearing my mom she was trying to talk. She was trying to yell for help. It just wasn't human. I don't remember ever thinking death or murder or anything like that. I just remember thinking gone, just them being away. No one deserves to ever go through what my family went through.
I think my parents probably have a lot of questions. They didn't do anything wrong, and they didn't see anything wrong, so then you get back to the original question of why. I remember spending a lot of time thinking about it. The number one thing was always why. Why would someone that was raised in a good family and very happy and go-lucky, I mean, I appeared to be, happy and go-lucky and athletic and always doing all these activities, all of a sudden blow up? To sit there and think and not know why was terrible, and be stuck and knowing that you cause so much pain and emotional pain and suffering, and it's just not having the answer was very, very, very difficult. I felt really guilty about it because how could I do such a thing and not even know why? Immediately the human brain goes to worst case scenarios. My number one fear, and the one thing that I remember thinking about and kind of honestly being in denial about, is thinking maybe I was insane. I remember looking up stuff and they said, most people that are clinically insane don't know they're insane. I just don't know. I just remember being mad and frustrated.
What was it you said you got in trouble for? I'm sorry, you told me that.
I was late to class.
And so you got detention, that would have been Thursday? Tell me what happened when you got home.
My mom picked me up because she got off work early. She said, get a snack, you have chores to do. So sweep all the tile in the entire house and then mop it for me. I said, okay. So I swept and mopped the whole house. And she goes, okay, now vacuum all the carpets. And I said, okay, I'll vacuum the carpets. She goes, go in the backyard and scoop the dog poop and fill in the holes that I've been grounding for my phone and the Xbox and TV. Electronics, pretty much.
Since how long?
Yesterday.
Okay. All right.
He would tell me multiple times, actually, that his parents were a little strict on him. If he didn't do the most simplest things, he would be grounded for a long, long, long time.
Got back from school and my dad had me doing chores. I'd already been grounded, so there was my grounding had been extended. So I go up and I get ready for bed. My dad comes in. My mom doesn't come in, which is weird, because normally she comes in too. I said, where's mom? And he said, she's downstairs. She's kind of frustrated right now. And then on his way out, I remember him saying, get some sleep because you got a lot of work to do, but you're not going to be playing in the game. And it was like, he said, you got a lot of work to do. And then there was like a pause and he says, and you're not playing in the game. So I was like, what? I'm like, tournament? And he said, yeah. And it's like, that was kind of like the click. I mean, that was like 2 or 3 hours before.
What probably went on in his mind
14,
that
Michelle.
night was, what do I really have to lose? I'm sitting here and I don't have any social life. And he convinced himself that, if he got rid of his parents, that he would be able to just go and do things that the other kids would be able to do. But of course, that's not the right thing to do, ever.
I'm going to stop for just a second here. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but the best friend has really contradicted his story. When they first talked to him, he was talking about how popular he was at school, how he was athletic, how he had all the girls, and everybody wanted to talk to him. And just now, he just said he had no social life, didn't have anything to do. He was always kept to himself. His parents were strict. He's really contradicted himself on how he's described him. So that makes you wonder, uh, are we getting the real truth here, one way or the other, from everybody? Uh, I really think this is interesting, the way they keep going from one part, like they'll go from the parents to the friend here to the child. It really keeps it interesting, I believe. Uh, I just didn't know if you guys noticed that, the contradiction there.
Based on all the evidence we had, it was pretty clear that this was a very strong case against Nathan for 2 counts of attempted murder in the first degree. What was slightly less obvious was whether or not he needed to be prosecuted as an adult. The public safety component weighed very heavily on me. If he was prosecuted as a juvenile, that would have guaranteed that at the age 21, he would be released from all supervision and incarceration and be free to go anywhere and do anything.
When I first met Nathan, I was very impressed with him. He was articulate and bright. I believe Nathan is a good person. I think he has a good set of values and knows right from wrong.
He had time to think about what was right and what was wrong and what he should do and what he shouldn't do. And he went to their room and he stood over them and he spent time to contemplate his actions. And then he determined who he would shoot first.
You know, ultimately, with Nathan Brooks, there wasn't much question that what was alleged to have happened. The question was, what do we do with him now?
Can the community be safe if we let him out at 21 or before? That's the big question.
Is it right to give up on an individual? Throw someone away?
He was looking at a minimum of 40 years in prison, up to about 50 years.
When the prosecutors were talking 50 years for Nathan Brooks, essentially what they were saying is that is a life to throw away. I don't agree with that, not in Nathan Brooks' case.
This is Nathan's room. This is where he slept and studied the 13 months that he was here with us. It's not much, but I think he liked it, was happy. Getting him out on bail was important. It was a sad time, but it was a special time.
You know, I talked to Nathan before, and he says, these people are afraid of me, and I'm not going to hurt anybody. He says, I just can't believe it. He says, I'm not going to do any harm to anybody.
Was it an act of mercy? I mean, it ended up being that way.
He asked me if I was afraid of him, and I told him that I was uncertain of him. And he told me, he says, Granny, if you're afraid of me, I won't go. And that was good enough, because I know that he wanted to get out, but he wouldn't do it if I was afraid of him. So
I bet she really was and just said she wasn't. I know if he
There
came to my
was
house, I would be
a
afraid.
few reservations, I think, at first, going to bed. But he was Nathan, and those kind of quickly went away.
My wife and I were stuck in a very odd position. The prosecutor's office wouldn't talk to us because we were the parents of the accused. The defense attorneys wouldn't really talk to us because we're the victims. So we didn't really know what was going on with the case.
That'd be a situation to be in.
We felt Nathan did need to be punished for what he had done. Part of what we come to the realization is we couldn't provide the treatment that Nathan needed. The court could provide that. To go up there and say, yes, my son needs to be put in jail for what he did. That was difficult to come to. It took lots of conversations, lots of heartache.
Prosecution wanted us to go all out, and we said no because he's our son. So we were just kind of left out because we were parents and we still loved him, and we didn't want to help with his sentencing.
To try to convince someone that 10 years was an appropriate length of time. It was like you were bargaining with somebody's life. Because at the end of the day, that's what we were doing. That process, I was angry about that. I wasn't good enough at it, I guess.
Right, Christy, May. I agree exactly with that.
This case is not a whodunit. It's a why done it. Why did he do it? When you prosecute people who are in a gang, when they commit a gang murder,
I was thinking the
you know
same
why
thing,
they did
Amanda.
it. They did it because it was part of the rules of the gang. There's a motive.
Why would someone go and try to shoot their parents? I know at least when I was involved with him, it was a big question in his mind is, man, why, how did that happen? That doesn't seem like me.
Did you ask him why?
We did. Yeah. And he didn't have an answer.
If there is no answer to the question why, if there is no reason why he did what he did, that's maybe the most troubling outcome there could possibly be.
I agree with that completely.
Nathan was kind of a high-profile case, though, so we all kind of had heard about it before, just on the news and stuff.
That's a good point, Cheryl.
Nathan is very much an introvert. He keeps everything inside, and I'm sure he probably grew up that way because that's generally how they are. He does keep a lot inside, and he, just watching him and talking to him, he doesn't even have a lot of facial expression when he talks. But it's all in there, and when you get to know him more, you can notice little smiles, little smirks, or even though he appears like he might be unemotional, he's probably one of the more emotional kids I get to deal with. We've been able to watch him for a few years. We haven't seen any personality disorders. There's been no antisocial traits with him. I don't see any piece of him that would give anybody the cause to believe that he was psychotic. We haven't seen anything that would lead anybody to believe that he's not of normal average intelligence with normal average abilities for things. He's a very smart, very kind person. He loves his family. He's very close to them. It's obvious when you see them together that they are very, very bonded.
We want to know, as a community, we want to know why did this happen, and we want to be able to blame it on, socioeconomic background, abuse at home, was Nathan being abused? Just doesn't appear any of that was there.
Nathan's diagnosis when he first arrived, it was oppositional defiant disorder, ADHD, and possible bipolar. The psychiatrist, he never takes what he's given as the final word. He wants to do his own diagnosis. And so he worked with Nathan on coming off his medications to see really what symptoms he had. After he was taken off his ADHD medication, he was doing great in school. He was getting good grades. He was focusing. He was doing what he needed to. He was following the rules. He was being appropriate. So we determined he didn't need that ADHD medication. But he had pretty severe depression. I mean, he was a pretty severely depressed guy. So he ended up with the diagnosis of major depressive disorder. This time now it is in remission. He's feeling good. He's stable. There's been quite a few different medication changes to figure out what works with him.
I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder.
All right, Jan, thank you.
It's just, it's a relief to know that something else wasn't seriously wrong and that I could get help. I mean, I'm not crazy or an animal or anything like that.
A lot of times in younger people, the depression comes out as irritability or anger. You feel worthless, hopeless, extremely down, extremely depressed. This goes on for a few week period of time.
Some of the things that Nathan indicated were harsh punishments in other households or chores. In many homes, that's part of the duties of home. But in Nathan's mind, it was harsh punishment, and what was in his mind was the key.
After Angelina, that's when he was in jail.
The diagnosis has brought a lot of things to light. I mean, it helps me to really understand why I did what I did. There was aggression and depression, and there just wasn't any way for me to deal with it. I didn't understand, and I didn't know why, and I was lost.
Oh, I look back daily on whether or not I was too tough on him, and no, I don't think I was. Honest, he was my child, and he was loved dearly. That never changed.
I make my daughter clean up around the house.
He was going through, or he thought differently of it. Honest to goodness, I had no idea, and I don't know that Nathan did.
I understand the medical side. But the fact that at the end of the day, he still chose to do what he did.
I believe so, Donna.
That I struggle with. I'm still confused by that. I don't understand how someone would do that. I don't know. I don't think that's something I'll ever truly, fully understand. It's just, maybe it's beyond my ability to get.
I just think it's really great that he still has them in his life and they are welcome him back and with open arms, and they have been able to work on that relationship.
Look at that. Is he going for the Santa Claus? You know? Hey, buddy. How are you doing? Good.
So, when does the beard shaving month end?
Yeah, it was supposed to be tomorrow.
Supposed to be? That sounds like...
I'm deciding I want to know. I still want to do it.
That is mighty scruffy.
It's a lot of work to shave all that off, I'm telling you.
So how are your teeth? How's the pulled one? Pulled area?
Were they pulled the molar? Or the wisdom tooth?
They pulled both of them.
They did both?
Did it hurt them?
I got holes on both sides. I think they're both gone. I don't remember. Oh, whatever they gave me was like for a gorilla.
So let me see. Wow.
Does it look like it's missing?
Yeah. Well, darn. Looks good.
You brushing?
No.
No. I need to brush more. You saw that? I don't know what it is.
What happened?
I don't know. It just showed up.
Oh, but you didn't get hurt or anything.
No. No, it just showed up.
I remember the very first meeting, and that's when I repetitively told them that it wasn't their fault, because I was really worried that my parents took too much blame for what happened, and they blamed themselves. And they said several times that they should have noticed and they should have known that I had a mental illness, and I just remember telling them I didn't know, so how could they? The fact is, it is my brain. Only I'll know before everyone else will.
I was thinking
My
the same
biggest
thing,
fear was that they blamed
Angelina.
themselves way too much. They made it way too hard on each other, and I personally feel like that had, some effect on the marriage. That was really the hardest part, was to prevent that from tearing the family apart, and to work towards keeping it together long enough to where I could receive treatment and just become a family again.
All right.
Hey, where'd you go?
It's going to be a really long healing process. I don't know how someone would ever heal from that. I know that it helps that his parents love him unconditionally.
Love you, Dad. Oh, love you, buddy.
But I still also don't think that him and the family have openly talked about it a lot either. It's kind of like to the side right now, and maybe at some point when people are stronger, with their emotions are stronger, they'll be able to talk about it more.
I really can't explain it. I can't explain how you can love your daughter so much and yet love the person that shot her so much. I can't explain it, except how can you not love your grandson? You just do. He was always a good kid, and you cannot just turn the love off for the boy that you've always known. just doesn't work that way. There's no manual for handling what's happened to us. You just feel. That's all you do.
It could be so much worse. You can look at it as some parents have lost their children. So we are blessed as parents by we still have our children.
I'm glad that we didn't die just for Nathan, so that Nathan never has to carry that.
I missed that.
Exactly.
All right, you guys. Did you like it as much as I portrayed it out to be? I thought it was really good. Um, I thought, the way they put it together, going from like the mother to the father, talking to the son, getting everybody's story, not leaving it with just one person and going to the next. I really liked how they done that. Uh, One thing, maybe she didn't want to be a part of the documentary is he does have a sister, because at the first, he says he hollers and hides his daughter and his son behind him for protection. So he does have a sister. Um, he'll be released in 2028, Don, and he'll be 29 years old. Uh, like I said, I seen this, guys, the other night. I was just scanning through some stuff on Amazon and found this. Like I said, when I seen it, I thought, well, I'll give it a try. I started watching it, and I thought, I think my channel would really be interested in this story, and we can also keep up with it, because he could be released earlier than 2028. The reason he got the less time, he was facing 50 years for 2 counts of attempted murder, and he only got 15 and a half years because he pled guilty to assault with a deadly weapon. So that's how that happened. Feels like something's in my eye. I wear contacts, and I've had them in. I left them in all night, and they're uncomfortable in the day when I do that. Just, I really think it needs to be. Yeah, well, he was 14 and he's 19 now. And this show was probably a couple years old, Christy, because when this documentary was done, he done this. He done this when he was 14, and then in this documentary he was 19. So this documentary was done 5 years. I think so, Crazy Ray. I feel all right. Just feels like something's in my eye, but that's all. So anyway, guys, maybe I will find us something else like this on Amazon, and it's my Prime, so um, I don't know, are we pausing stuff? If they do a copyright thing on it, that all they'll do is the people that made the video will want the money from the ads on this video. That's all that will happen. So I really wanted to show it. Some of you guys that missed it, or if you want to watch it without hearing me pause and talk and stuff, there's people that said you can watch it on YouTube for free. If you have Amazon, you can watch it, Amazon Prime. He was 14 years old, pissed off because he got his he got detention, and I got detention. He was late to class. I mean, I've done that before, And I think it was a lot of chores for just being late to class and getting detention, in my opinion. I mean, sweep and mop the whole house, vacuum, um, clean up dog poop out of the yard, and also fill in holes in the backyard. That seemed like a lot, just but it and nothing justifies what he done. Don't get me wrong. Um, there was a part in the documentary, where he's talking about listening to that song. He's got a song playing, and the whole time he's playing that song, he's trying to decide if he's going to shoot and kill his parents. And at the end of the song, yep, I'm going to do it. Well, thank you, Louis or Lewis, however you pronounce it. Um, take care, Michelle. Good night. Um, I'm glad you've got good news about your child. So excellent. That's great. Everything's good. I go back to work tomorrow, so I don't know if I work the next 4 days, 10-hour shifts. So I don't know if I will be on those days. I'll try to come on maybe. Uh, if you guys see something on Amazon Prime uh, that uh, think we all would like, let me know, because where I have Amazon Prime, I can pull the video up and we watch it and do like we did today, go over it. Um, it's just, we're not in the parents' shoes, and hopefully we never will be. Uh, so I just don't understand, and I probably won't be able to understand for the simple fact that I've not been through what they've been through. Um, so maybe they can um, mend this and become a family. I would say he to me seemed like he's getting a lot of treatment in prison mentally. To me, the way he talks towards the end of the documentary, he's kind of articulate. He speaks well. It just seems like and when they took him off all of his medicine to find out what was really wrong with him, maybe he was misdiagnosed. Still, does it give him the right to choose parents? Absolutely not. But being misdiagnosed with a mental illness, that's obviously a problem right there in itself. I don't know. I think the parents really, really, really need some intense therapy, because they even said they haven't processed it. And when this documentary was made, it was 5 years. Obviously, it's been 2013 it happened. It's been 7 years since this happened. So in 7 years, you would think that they would come to terms with this one way or the other, and maybe they never will be able to. Who knows? And maybe they can put it past them. The grandparents talked about having him there after he done this for 13 months. Uh, to me, I couldn't trust him. Even if he falls asleep before you do and you make sure he's asleep, who's to say you don't get up in the middle of the night and do this again? Um, I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's been an hour and a half, so I'm going to take off. Probably do a few Uber Eat runs. I'm actually making really good doing Uber Eats right now, just for the fact people are tipping so well. I did 7 deliveries last night after I was on here with you guys, and made like $97. And I'm not talking big runs. These are like short runs too. There's several restaurants around here where I live, and I just hit the restaurant and take it to the person. And people are just tipping really well right now, where everything's in the state that it is. So it's just pretty nice, and it's pretty fun. It gets me out of the house. Um, so, but anyway, guys, I'll try to come on for a little while tomorrow night, hopefully. Depending on how tired I am. Usually the first day back to work, I'm usually pretty tired when I get off for this reason that where I've been off for 3 days. Um, I am a night person by nature, not by choice. I'm not a morning person at all. And when I work the 410 schedule, I get up at 5 in the morning and I leave at 5:30 because I have to clock in at 6:30. And the place I work in is about 40 minutes away. But I like to be there early. I like to leave early in case there's a wreck on the interstate, anything like that. Um, so if I'm not too tired, we'll see. But I work the next 4 days. So if you don't see me till Thursday, you'll know why. But hopefully we can get on. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, it's on YouTube. It's on Amazon if you want to watch it without hearing me talk. I understand completely. But you guys have a great night. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. And we will see you later. Good night, guys.